Welcome to the Prying Colloquy. A podcast always searching for insights into ourselves, our relationships, and the world around us.
Indeed.
And today we are diving deep into some fascinating research that could change how we think about autism spectrum disorder.
This study really caught my eye. It's looking at a potential new treatment for ASD. And the remarkable part is that it involves...
Probiotics.
Yeah, probiotic.
Like the stuff you find in yogurt?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, I have to admit.
Yeah.
But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Sure.
Can you kind of remind us what autism spectrum disorder is and why this research is such a big deal?
Of course. So autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, is a neurodevelopmental condition that affects how people communicate and interact with the world. It's characterized by challenges with social communication and interaction, as well as restricted and repetitive patterns of behavior.
Okay.
And here's the key.
Right.
There are currently no medications approved by the FDA that specifically target those core symptoms of ASD.
So this study is looking at a way to potentially treat those core symptoms, and they're using probiotics to do it.
It is
pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this probiotic and how it's supposed to work.
Well, this isn't your average yogurt probiotic. This is a very specific formulation called SB121, which combines a particular bacteria called L. reuteri with dextrin microparticles, Cefidex, and maltose.
Okay, that sounds pretty complex. What's so special about this L. reuteri?
Well, L. reuteri is known to stimulate the production of oxytocin in the brain.
Okay.
And oxytocin is crucial for social bonding and behavior.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection here.
Yeah.
But how does a bacteria in the gut affect the brain? That seems like a pretty big leap.
Yeah, that's where the gut-brain axis comes in. This incredibly intricate communication network between our gut and our central nervous system. Basically, our gut and our brain are constantly talking to each other, and what happens in one can directly impact the other. Previous studies, mostly on mice, have shown that treating them with L. reuteri can reduce social deficits, possibly by influencing this gut-brain connection.
So they're trying to use this probiotic to boost oxytocin naturally and improve social behavior.
Precisely. And the Cefidex and maltose in SB121 are added to help the bacteria survive in the gut and be more effective.
So how did they even test this on humans? I mean, was it safe?
Well, this study was actually a first-in-human trial, meaning it was the first time SB121 was tested on people with ASD.
Wow.
It was a small study, just 15 participants between the ages of 15 and 45, but it was placebo-controlled, double-blind, and used a crossover design, which helps make the results more reliable.
Okay.
And importantly, the study showed that SB121 was safe and well-tolerated.
That's reassuring to hear. But the big question is, did it work? Did they see any improvement in social behavior?
That's what we're here to unpack, and the results were definitely promising. They saw improvements in what's called adaptive behavior, which essentially means how well people can function in everyday life.
So things like getting dressed, cooking a meal, interacting with others.
Exactly. They measured this using a standardized assessment called the Vineland-3. They also observed a trend towards increased social preference, which they measured using eye tracking technology to see how much time participants spent looking at social scenes versus non-social scenes. It's a clever way to quantify interest in social interaction.
Wow, that's fascinating. So this probiotic might actually be able to help people with ASD improve their social skills. What about those oxytocin levels? Did they go up?
That's where things get even more intriguing. While they did observe a positive trend in oxytocin levels during the SB121 treatment, those increases didn't directly correlate with the behavioral changes they observed.
So it seems like there might be more to the story than just oxytocin.
Indeed. This is just the beginning of a much larger exploration, and it raises some very interesting questions.
Well, this has certainly piqued my curiosity. I'm eager to hear more about these questions and what this all means for people with ASD and their families. It's pretty incredible. We're talking about potentially transforming the lives of millions with something as simple as a probiotic. But it really makes you wonder, what else can we learn about this gut-brain connection? What are the implications for people with ASD and their families?
You've hit the nail on the head. I mean, there is so much we still don't know. But this research opens up a whole new avenue for exploring potential treatments for ASD. And it suggests that we may be able to influence brain development and social behavior through the gut. Think of the possibilities.
It's mind-boggling to think that something as simple as adjusting gut bacteria could have such a profound impact on
Absolutely.
behavior.
And this study is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Research on the gut microbiome and its impact on our health is exploding right now. We're learning more and more about how these trillions of bacteria living in our gut can affect everything from our immune system to our mental health.
So you're saying that this study on SB121 is potentially just one piece of a much larger puzzle.
Exactly. And what's particularly exciting is that it raises the question of whether SB121 or similar probiotics could be helpful for other conditions related to social behavior. Could it have implications for conditions like social anxiety disorder or even depression, which often involves social withdrawal?
That's a really interesting thought. It's almost like we're on the verge of a whole new understanding of how to support mental and emotional well-being, and it all starts in the gut.
It's a paradigm shift, really. We've traditionally focused on the brain when it comes to mental health, but this research suggests we need to consider the gut as well.
It's like we've been missing a crucial piece of the puzzle all along.
Precisely. And that's the beauty of science. It's constantly evolving, challenging our assumptions, and leading us to new discoveries.
Okay, so let's bring this back to our listeners.
Sure.
What are some key takeaways they should consider? What does this mean for them and their families?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's crucial to remember that this was a small preliminary study. It's definitely exciting, but we need more research, particularly larger-scale trials, to confirm these findings and understand the full potential of SB121 as a treatment for ASD.
So don't go running out to buy probiotics just yet.
Not quite.
Okay.
However, this research does highlight the importance of gut health for overall well-being. Paying attention to what we eat and considering the role of probiotics in supporting a healthy gut microbiome is certainly a wise move.
Makes sense.
What else?
I think it's also important to remember that ASD is a complex condition with a wide range of individual experiences. What works for one person may not work for another. This is where personalized medicine comes in. And I think the future of ASD treatment will likely involve tailoring interventions to each individual's specific needs.
This research is just one step, albeit a fascinating one, on a much longer journey towards better understanding and treating ASD. Absolutely. And it's a journey that requires collaboration between researchers, clinicians, individuals with ASD, and their families. We need to keep asking questions, exploring new possibilities, and working together to improve the lives of those affected by this condition.
I couldn't agree more. This has been a truly eye-opening deep dive. But before we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question.
Okay, I'm all ears.
If changing our gut bacteria can potentially change how we interact with the world, what other hidden connections are waiting to be discovered within our own bodies?
Now that's a question worth pondering. The human body is a marvel of complexity, and with each new scientific breakthrough, we unlock another layer of understanding. Who knows what other secrets are waiting to be revealed?
Exactly. It's a reminder that we're all works in progress, constantly evolving and adapting.
And that the journey of discovery is never truly over.
Well said. And on that note, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of probiotics, the gut-brain axis, and the potential for new treatments for ASD.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it as fascinating as we did.
Yeah, exploring these groundbreaking findings with you.
And to our listeners, thank you for being a part of this Prying Colloquy. Remember, keep those minds open and never stop questioning. Makes you wonder what other incredible discoveries are out there just waiting for us.
Oh, absolutely. The human body is just full of mysteries. I mean, I have a feeling we've barely scratched the surface when it comes to, this whole gut-brain connection.
Well, a huge thank you to you for walking us through all of this research.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure picking your brain.
Oh, I've enjoyed it. These conversations are always so stimulating.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on the Prying Colloquy. We hope this episode has, sparked your curiosity about the incredible world inside your gut and all the potential it has for our health and well-being.
And if you're intrigued by what we've discussed today, I'd encourage you to do a little more digging on your own. There's some really great resources online, and we'll be sure to include some links in our show notes.
And as always, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What questions has this raised for you? Head over to our website or find us on Infomedia. Share your insights and keep the conversation going.
Until next time, keep prying and stay curious.
And remember, the answers to life's biggest questions just might be hiding in your gut.